Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Ozzy here. Welcome to the More Than a Pretty Face podcast. I'm here to answer all your questions about skin, health, beauty, and wellness, and take you behind the scenes in my practice. If you have any questions you want me to answer, send me a DM on Instagram at Skin by Dr. Ozzy, and I'll be sure to answer them on the show. Now, let's get started. I'm back. Did you guys miss me? Well, I missed you guys, and I've seen and heard all your heartfelt messages about the podcast, wanting it to come back. And I have to tell you, it means so much to me. I'm so proud, so grateful for the More Than a Pretty Face community that we've built together. So thank you for your patience as I needed to take some time off to focus on a few other projects, my kids. But now I'm super excited to be back this next season. We have so much planned for you guys. We have some amazing upcoming guests. For those of you who know me know that I started the podcast to bring you valuable, authentic, honest information as a practicing dermatologist, since there are so many podcasters and influencers out there that don't actually treat patients or, see dermatologic conditions in the office. So it was my way to contributing to the online information and busting some misinformation. So today I thought that we could talk about 5 tips for looking your best, feeling your best, and aging well. Longevity has become so popular, such a hot topic, and I just feel like there's a lot of not so great information, and the market is just filled with supplements and all these longevity treatments that promises to age you backwards and this and that. And so I really wanted to share my personal tips that I've seen in my patients that I've, been treating for decades, and some of them are in their 80s, and honest to God, they look like they're 50. They look phenomenal. And so through my observations of seeing these patients in the office, treating them, getting to know them, I've sort of come up with 5 tips for living your best life, because it's not that we all want to live to be 100 or 120, but we want to live the best life version, the best version of ourselves that we possibly can. Not necessarily the longest, but just high quality, not necessarily the quantity of years. And so I find that when you are aiming to age your best, you're also going to look your best. So today we're going to go beyond just vanity. We're not just trying to smooth fine lines and wrinkles, but we are looking for age-defying hacks that can actually slow down biological aging. But before we get started, don't forget to write, review, and subscribe, and share this with a friend, because sharing is caring. It's because of you guys that the podcast has come back and will continue to be produced. Your listenership is so important. And remember, you are more than just a pretty face. You are informed, you are educated to make the best decisions when it comes to treatments and products for you. And don't forget to listen to the end, because I will share my personal diet and lifestyle routine that I felt has made me age better. Okay, so let's dive in with the first tip being movement is the best longevity medicine you can take. Regular physical exercise activity is the most effective for aging well. Not only does it help prevent chronic conditions, but it also helps improve your mental health. And this can be whatever you enjoy doing, whether it's dancing, hiking, playing with your kids. Honestly, my workout routine is part of my skincare routine, and this is backed by science. A study found that fitness and exercise reduces age-related changes in the skin by boosting a regulatory hormone called IL-15, a myokine, which slows down aging by regulating mitochondrial metabolism. And they looked at skin samples of people over the age of 40 and found that those who exercise regularly, which they defined as 1 hour 3 times a week, they had skin compositions similar to those in their 20s and 30s. Exercise also enhances blood flow and oxygen to the skin. When you sweat, you expel oil and dirt out of your pores, so it gives you this beautiful, healthy workout glow. It also helps keep the brain cells healthy, because who wants to be beautiful and, look great, but then not have such a great, brain acuity? Your brain is just as important as your looks, guys. Remember, you're more than just a pretty face. But it's been shown to also enhance connections between brain cells and may help even grow new brain cells and neurons and connections. So if you are in your 40s and older, remember, building muscle is going to get harder. And you want to start young. Like, you want to start when you're 20, because you want to build that muscle memory. But it's never too late. So if you haven't been doing it and you're in your 40s, start now. It's going to be more important than ever if you are wanting a strong predictor of longevity. It will help maintain metabolism, prevent bone loss, enhance your estrogen and your testosterone levels, and it's going to protect you against injuries and falling. A lot of people underestimate this until they're in their late 40s, in their 50s, and they trip and boom, they have major injuries. Whereas if you were building your muscle, especially your core muscle, you may have been able to save yourself from that fall. Number 2, voluntary physical and mental discomfort is absolutely necessary because it builds resilience. So deliberately exposing yourself to mild discomfort like cold showers or intermittent fasting, it can really help strengthen your mind and your body. But listen to your body, welcome some discomfort. We obviously don't want chronic stress, but brief episodes of manageable stress from growth events can really help boost cognitive function, improve focus, increase motivation. Zero stress is not realistic or optimal and is actually not great for you. So you want to challenge your body and your mind. So look at challenges as opportunities for growth. Welcome them. Know that they're going to help you become an even better, more youthful version of yourself. And it can also give you the sense of purpose, overcoming a challenge, making it through hard times. Don't think that this is, tragic. It's actually going to be good for you in the long term in terms of growth and also anti-aging. Moving on to number 3, which I get asked all the time, what are some in-office treatments that are truly going to make your skin age backwards? Well, I would say the first one would be the BBL, or what I call the Forever Young BBL. It's a light-based treatment, and there's actual data. There's been studies that have taken skin samples from people who have had regular treatments of the Forever Young BBL in the same person, skin that's been treated with it and skin that has not, and they've taken those skin samples, looked at them, analyzed them, and the skin that's been treated with the BBL, which stands for broadband light, shows more youthful markers. So there is direct evidence, there's quantifiable evidence that shows that this type of treatment over a decade, 10, 15 years, can really make your skin cells healthier and more youthful. And what it is, it's using different energies of light, different filters of light. It's technically not a laser, but a light-based treatment. And it's great at removing sun damage, broken capillaries, brown spots. So it's something you might consider doing once a year, a couple times a year. If you do have a lot of sun damage, if you are outdoors a lot, you can do it like a series of it, get your skin nice and clean, and then do a maintenance. The second type of treatment that I find to be very helpful are resurfacing lasers. And what are resurfacing lasers? They sound exactly like what they are. They cut the surface of the skin, they remove a portion of your skin, getting your body to form new healthy skin cells that are smoother, tighter, more useful. And it's sort of like biohacking your body, your skin. It's like how alligators lose their tail, they grow a new one. And this is very similar. Now, in doing the resurfacing lasers, now there's different kinds depending on the level of intensity and, the energy levels, the density of it. It can be super light, or we can go super heavy on these. And certainly the more intense the treatment, the fewer sessions you need, and the longer the recovery, the higher the cost. But I do love combining resurfacing lasers with things like PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma, or exosomes, which I call the avatars of stem cells. So we can use these topicals when we are doing the resurfacing lasers. They do help people heal faster. We get better results. These, I would say, are the true and tried treatments that have good scientific data behind them. With the resurfacing lasers, it's actually been shown to help reduce the risk of future skin cancers as well as treat precancer. So we're not about making you only look younger, but we're also talking about skin health and rejuvenation. And as many of you know me, I do have a very holistic approach to beauty. We don't just want to do a surface cleanup. We also are always looking to make your skin healthier. Number 4, what about skincare products or things that you could be doing at home? And my goodness, there are so many skincare lines out there. There's so many skincare devices. Does it actually work? What are the tried and true ingredients that have been shown over and over again in scientific data and research to improve skin quality and make your skin look more youthful? Well, aside from sunscreen, which all of you know by now you should be wearing on a daily basis, just a moisturizer every morning you put on that has SPF, 15, 30 or higher, that's broad spectrum. Ideally a tinted one, especially if you suffer from pigmentation, because tinted SPF gives you a little bit extra protection because of the iron oxide. But regardless, the best sunscreen is the one you're going to wear. Aside from the sunscreen, the next class of ingredients are retinoids. And if you've seen my videos online and actually any dermatologist you ask, they will tell you the most powerful ingredient to boost your collagen, to boost your natural hyaluronic acid, to enhance circulation in your skin, to make you heal better and faster from lasers, retin-A, or a group of ingredients, I should say retinoids. It can get a little bit confusing because retinoids are sort of a broad term, but under that broad umbrella, there are ingredients such as retinol, retinol aldehyde. They are different forms of retinoids, and it really has to do with the specific chemical that has to convert and bind to the retinoid receptor. Certainly the most active form is prescription tretinoin, which comes in different percentages. But if you're using a retinol, it has to convert to the active before it can work its magic, which is why prescription retin-A is probably the best, but it can also be the most irritating for people. So retinaldehyde and retinols can also be effective. And then aside from retinoids and SPF, the next best thing would be like a vitamin C, which is a powerful antioxidant. It helps not only boost and protect you against environmental stressors, but it also plays an important role in collagen production, because without vitamin C, our skin can't really make collagen as effectively. And then there's a whole host of other ingredients like exosomes and stem cells and, resveratrol and other antioxidants, green tea polyphenols. These are all sort of icing on the cake. But the cake itself, if you were to go with the bare minimum, it would be an SPF in the morning, a retinoid at night. But if you want to sprinkle on some vitamin C, some, resveratrol, some green tea polyphenols, these are also great. Now, I will say the skincare ingredient should really be tailored to your specific skin. Because some people, for example, suffer from rosacea, which can cause chronic inflammation in their skin. And so that condition needs to be treated because chronic inflammation will damage your collagen. So vitamin C may not be the right treatment for them. Maybe retinoids are, during certain periods of their rosacea may not be suitable. So they may want to opt for an ingredient that's actually been shown to control chronic rosacea, such as azelaic acid. So that's why the skincare routine should really be customized to your skin type and what your propensities are. If you have rosacea, I would much rather you use azelaic acid, like azelaic 10 serum from AussieMD Skincare, over a vitamin C, which oftentimes can make rosacea worse. So really think about that when you are looking at your skincare routine. Is we don't want chronic inflammation. If you're prone to eczema, you want to make sure you're always treating that. If you're prone to acne, make sure you're on a good solid regimen for that. So really important to customize your skincare. And lastly, number 5, what about all these longevity medications, supplements? I have friends that are going in for NAD infusions. They're flying to Texas to do stem cell therapy, all of this stuff, And I have to say, with longevity, it's important to note that a lot of the data is coming from fruit flies and mice, because those species, we don't have to study them for 100 years. We can gather data rather quickly because they have such a short lifespan. But it doesn't necessarily translate to true, real, accurate data in humans. So it's really important to make sure you understand that just because something is trendy, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's healthy. I think this should be the title of this podcast. Healthy, not trendy, because right now there's so many things that are trending and everyone's trying to jump on this bandwagon of longevity. It is big business, these supplements. And I have to tell you, being in this space for a long time now, there are all these hacks that come and go, and they're like, oh, you should take growth hormone. It's going to make you, age backwards. And then next thing you know, or take this supplement, next thing you know, a whole new set of data comes out that, oh, actually that made you age faster. So here you were thinking that you were doing something amazing to age backwards, and it actually accelerated your aging. Wow. That can be kind of scary. This is what kind of concerns me about the longevity space, is that a lot of these treatments could potentially backfire. So let's start with this miracle drug from Easter Island, which you probably know for its giant stone heads. It's also the origin of our most promising longevity drug, rapamycin. It was discovered in a soil sample by this Canadian expeditionist in the 60s. And this molecule, which is produced by a species of bacterium, is a pharmaceutical Swiss Army knife. It's used to treat cancer. It helps suppress transplant patients' immune systems when they get an organ transplant so that the organ isn't rejected by their bodies. And pretty soon we can say that it's slowing down the aging process. So I read a lot about rapamycin, so I decided I was going to take it. And you're supposed to take very little amounts. So I was taking like 1 milligram, like once a week or once every 2 weeks. I stopped because it kind of made me nauseous, or I stopped. But I know that a lot of my colleagues are taking it, and they've noticed if you take it for 3 months, 6 months, their arthritis got better. So how does this magic pill work? Well, as we get older, we tend to accumulate these dysfunctional proteins. And there's this process of autophagy, which means self-eating, if we're going to translate it. And it's a natural process in which the cells break down and we recycle these damaged or unnecessary parts that accumulate. Well, that whole process slows down with aging. Drugs like rapamycin help enhance it. And so they help with this autophagy process. And so taking it may help prolong life or make you age better. You may feel better, as some people are claiming. But what if you don't want to boost this autophagy process by taking a pill? like rapamycin, the medication? Well, there's a few things you can do. One is intermittent fasting. And again, you don't want to do this like every day. I personally do it once a week or maybe a couple of times a week because you also don't want to stress your body. And so you want to do it in moderation. But intermittent fasting has been shown to boost the natural autophagy process. Muscle building and exercise has been shown to boost autophagy. And then your diet, this calorie restriction diet, meaning not really intermittent fasting, but you're restricting your calories. You're not consuming a lot of calories. That's also been shown to put your body into autophagy. So these are some natural ways that you can boost this process if you're not looking to take a pill. Now, I will say that rapamycin has also been shown to worsen blood sugars in mice and humans who take it. And so it's not coincidental that they're also recommending metformin along with rapamycin for anti-aging. Now, metformin is traditionally used for diabetes, but it can also help people lose weight. And it's also surfaced as the next best miracle anti-aging drug. I would say the rapamycin and metformin right now have probably the most data behind them. I was taking metformin for a while also, 500 milligrams a day, but I stopped just because I don't know if it was making me tired. And then again, I get nervous about taking actual medications for anti-aging or longevity just because we just don't have a ton of data. The data we have is certainly promising, but I personally am not ready to jump in, but I have a lot of colleagues that are taking both of those. Okay, moving on. What about these NAD infusions? I see them all over these IV therapy spas, which again, I question. A lot of these, chiropractic run IV spas for longevity. I would be really cautious with these just because the motives are mixed, right? It's becoming big business. But the scientific evidence behind NAD infusions supporting these claims is really not there. We really need more large, well-controlled human trials to see if it's really worthwhile. And they can be quite expensive. And from a dermatologist standpoint, when you're getting these NAD infusions, you can get flushing and you don't feel so great either. You can get nauseous. And so if you're experiencing any of these, I'd be a little concerned with safety and whether that's really good for you. So I personally think the jury's out. It's unclear whether this actually reaches tissues effectively and doing the things that it's supposed to be doing. Yes, your natural body's NAD, which is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, is what it stands for. It does deplete as you age, but I'm not sure if doing these infusions are really going to reverse that. So I think taking maybe nicotinamide 500 milligrams just as a supplement might be okay, but I wouldn't go as far as infusing IVs of NAD infusions into your body. That's me personally. But hey, if you're doing it and you're feeling great and it's working well for you, I always say you can't argue with success. And then lastly, let's talk about hormones, particularly starting in our late 30s, 40s. In women, we see a significant decline in estrogen, which is so important for so many different organs. And if you haven't listened to my podcast with Dr. Marie Claire, I go into hormone replacement therapy when it comes to females. And then in men, certainly the decline in testosterone. And so should you be taking, exogenous estrogen, bioidentical estrogen, or testosterone? That is something to talk with your doctor about. It's really hard to measure hormones, particularly in women, because it escalates throughout the day. So it's really hard to know what that real value is. That's why we can't really measure hormones. And most OBGYNs that I talk to really rely on symptoms. So when you start noticing symptoms, irregular periods, hot flashes, brain fog, you can't build muscle like you used to, you're not sleeping well, these are all symptoms. And that is really the time to intervene because it varies for different people. So this is a good discussion to have with your OBGYN and see if this is something that is good for you. But I can tell you estrogen makes a huge difference in women, and not only in their just in their skin overall, but also when we do treatments in the office, they heal better if they're on estrogen replacement therapy, hormone replacement therapy. So not everybody's this candidate, but building muscle mass, especially in men, can boost natural testosterone. So that's, some other ways that you can boost your body's natural hormones is through exercise and muscle building. Okay, that was a lot. Those are my 5 tips. Now, for you guys that keep asking, what do I do for my body, my workouts, my diet? Well, I'd say that it's been pretty consistent. I've been active my entire life. So whether it's running, lifting weights, it's something that I've been doing. So it's just become part of my being. And if you're struggling to embark on this, I highly recommend you do it for 3 weeks. We are, as humans, we love routines. And once we get into a habit, then that habit continues for life. And so I think that's been really important for me, is just having a lifelong habit and establishing good habits early on. So in terms of my diet, I would say once or maybe twice a week, I do intermittent fasting, which I don't have anything. Well, I do have coffee in the morning, just one every morning, but I don't really eat until, 11, 12. But for the most part, I like to start my day with 1 latte, which has 2 shots of espresso in it. But my go-to breakfast in the morning is yogurt, granola, berries, all the antioxidants, and like half a banana. And I make that every morning. It's the first thing I have with my coffee. And then mid-morning, I have a green juice, which has kale, celery, cucumbers, apple, ginger, spinach. I think that's mostly it. But yeah, your prototypical green juice, I get it fresh every day. And then for lunch, I usually either have like a sandwich or lentil soup or chicken with rice. And lately, I will say I'm obsessed with eggs. I will have like 2 or 3 eggs. I love eggs. They are so good for you. A great source for collagen, peptides, or amino acids that form collagen, lysine. Obviously you get great protein, but they're very nutritious. So I love eggs, and I've been having a lot of that. And then for dinner, well, actually, for snack, I will get like either a pear or an apple, and I'll have it with peanut butter. And then for dinner, I love pasta. Like if I were to eat one thing at night, would be like pasta bolognese with vegetables, or chicken and rice, or, lentils. I love avocados. I have a salad every night with dinner, I think forever and ever and ever. So that's generally my diet. I love popcorn. And recently, I would say in the past few months, I have an entire bowl of popcorn every night. I'm obsessed. Popcorn is actually so good for you. It's such a great source for fiber, and it doesn't have a lot of calories, and it's super tasty. So I do have that. And I don't eat sugar. I think I don't know if my body's just gotten so used to it, but I never eat processed sugar, never eat diet sodas, never have Splenda or artificial sweeteners, because sugar is probably the worst thing for your skin, your body, in my opinion. But I will have a glass of wine with dinner. I guess that would be my vice. Not a lot, just usually 1 glass, maybe 2 if it's like a special occasion or a really long dinner, but typically no more than that. And then in terms of my workout routines, I did recently start pickleball because, not just because, but it's a fun sport, and I love just hitting the ball back and forth. That has been shown with racket sports, whether it's even ping pong, tennis, paddle, all of those sports have been shown to work out your cerebellum, which contains 90% of your brain's neurons. So it's the smallest part of your brain, but the most dense when it comes to neurons. And so working that out is really great for your brain, coordination. It's also a very fun social sport, which I think being social is so important for longevity and as just us as humans, and also being outdoors. Nature is truly therapy. I try to get outside in nature at least an hour a day. It doesn't matter how busy I am or what that might be. It might be a beach, or it might be pickleball outdoors. It might be a hike. Even for 20 minutes every single day, I think is so, so important, staying active outdoors. But I do work out every day, whether that's gym, pickleball. I do focus mostly on muscle building, and I try not to do things that are really hard on my joints, like running. I stopped that years ago because it's so hard on your body. Weights are so important. I really try to work my core. I think yoga is so key, just because of the stretching and the balance and the movement that it brings in terms of longevity. I wish I had time for Pilates. That would be the only thing that I feel like I'm missing, because I think Pilates works out so many muscle groups all at once, and that is really great for your body. And sometimes, if I go out and I'm in heels for like 6-7 hours of a night, I always think to myself, oh my gosh, I could not do this if I wasn't in great shape. So that's my motivation, to be able to keep going out, dancing in heels. And so I'm very serious about my workout and lifestyle routine. And so I hope that this was helpful and gave you motivation to start living a healthier lifestyle. And I'm so glad to be back and connected to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, don't forget to follow us on More Than a Pretty Face podcast on Instagram and TikTok. Until next time, bye guys. Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ozzy here. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us on the More Than a Pretty Face podcast. I'm so grateful for your listenership and support. This show is for you, so I want to hear from you. Send in your questions on anything from skincare and beauty to life, love, relationships, so I or my experts can answer your questions on a future episode. You can submit questions through podcasts@skinbydrozzy.com or on Instagram @skinbydrozzy. That's spelled DRAZI. If you find our episodes valuable, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Your support allows us to continue bringing you this podcast. And if you want to share this with your friends, take a screenshot, post it to your stories. We love to know what you're up to and what you love most about this episode. So don't forget to tag us @skinbydrozzy so we can see. Until next time, have a beautiful day.